Good morning, selamat pagi, assalamualaikum. We have read many writers, analysts giving their opinion in the last 1 week about why a pardon for Dato Seri Najib will be undesirable, will be bad for the country, and so on and so forth. Never has the issue of a royal pardon received so much attention. When Mokhtar Hashim was pardoned for murder, I don't remember having this deluge of discussions in the public domain. When we have a pardon for our Prime Minister today, there was no discussion. Nobody questions the propriety of it, whether it's appropriate, whether it should be done, whether it's good for the country. Everybody assumes it's good for the country. But unfortunately, in the case of Najib, somehow, there's a very strong opinion that he should not be pardoned. I, on the other hand, belong to the other side. I feel he should be pardoned, he should be forgiven. You do not expect, you can't expect unanimity. Yeah? You cannot expect everybody to have the same view. You don't need a referendum for this issue of pardon. We all know that. So I think it is only fair that I give my view for whatever it's worth. Pardon is actually, as we all know, is an act of mercy. It's an absolute discretion of the king. Just like our Attorney General has absolute freedom too. Our Attorney General, using his powers, can withdraw charges, whether amounting to acquittal or not amounting to acquittal, but he can withdraw charges. Nobody can question him. So that's why we have cases like the BVIP in Sabah, the cases were withdrawn, although charged with hundreds of millions of dollars of corruption. That is why we have the case of our present Deputy Prime Minister. He's got his DNAA, discharge not amounting to acquittal. Also an exercise of discretion. Then we have discretion exercise in favor of Mr. Lim Guan Eng, you remember, in 2019 or so. So there have been many cases where the exercise of discretion were done, were executed, were implemented, and we in the public don't really know why. And we never ask the opinion of everybody. Today, we have a situation where, or I think it's tomorrow, that's what it was reported in the Singapore paper, that the Pardons Board would meet. So the question then, where would the discretion be to release Najib, to pardon him or not? Except in this occasion, it is not the Attorney General's discretion. It is the King, the wisest of men. He has to exercise this discretionary powers, this mercy, this act of mercy. And I think he should, simply because at the outset, I want to tell you this. I hold no brief for Dato Najib, I hold no relationship, professional, business with his family, nothing, absolutely nothing. He's a friend, someone I'm very fond of. And for the little I know about the SRC case, of which he has been sentenced, of which he has been punished, of which he has served sentence, for this sum of $42 million, of which he was found guilty, I think he deserves a pardon. Firstly, he chaired the cabinet meeting, so technically he committed an offence. But these things happen, this technical thing. The money that the 42 million SRC's case, the money, there's evidence in court that all the money was spent on election, on charities, and so on, the public. It was not for his own use. And there was also evidence that the officer of the bank, Joanna Lau, I think her name, she said Najib might not know that whether it is his money that comes from this source, one MDB source, or whether it's from the Saudi money that he received. Which he did receive some. So she said he might not know. But aside from all that, I think the most telling argument for me is that he did not have legal representation at the final stage of his appeal. And I think that's not right. It's unfair. When a man is faced with a sentence of 12 years imprisonment, which can go up to 17 if he fails to pay the fine, I think he deserves legal representation, regardless of the circumstances. The greatest latitude should be given to him, but it wasn't. And that, to me, is a good enough reason to pardon him. Come on. Remember the exercise of discretion by the Attorney General? Whether it involves politicians or Nicky Lau and the gang, the underworld, or whatever. If you can have faith that justice requires such discretion to be exercised, why don't you share the same belief that Najib too, in the circumstances of the case, should be pardoned? Don't confuse the 42 million SRC's case with these other charges, 1MDB. The matter has not resolved yet. We have to separate the issue. We can't say, if we pardon him on this one, what about the other cases still pending? Well, we deal with the other cases as it comes, as it develops. He might be acquitted too. So I think it is only fair that you look at the circumstances and the facts on the 42 million. Look, my point is this. We have allowed, whether by the mechanism is different, the process is different, DNA, DA, whatever, discretions we have exercised against lesser men, against more serious charges. We can't do the same for our former Prime Minister, who has done a lot of good for the country too. We can't do that. Oh, I know. Some of you say, it'll be bad for the country. My friend, the hypocrisy of our system is what gives the country a bad name. When you exercise discretions in this case in this way and not on this way, and when you have inconsistent decisions, when the decisions are what many people perceive to be politically motivated, that's what gives the country a bad name. Najib's pardon, on the other hand, will be seen as a compassionate act. A country that has got belief that the wrong that we have done to him must be right, must be corrected, he must be given the freedom again. I believe sincerely that he did not wanted the money for himself. I am convinced of that. And there was evidence of that. The money was for UMNO or for whatever, public use. And that should not be ignored. I want to say this, okay? Now, we have never, this country, we have always somehow find the right thing to do when it's necessary. Okay? We have, in the political sphere, after the disastrous May 69, we reorganized the country. We restructured the country. And we have succeeded in many ways. So we have that capacity to do right when something's wrong has occurred. I think I beseech the King to do the right thing now, but a wrong has been committed. technically may be correct, but please, discretion should be given, should be conferred. That mercy, that pardon should be given to Dato Najib. Thank you. Terima kasih.